Welcome to another episode of the Everyday Game Changers podcast. I'm your host, Barion McQueen, and you know how we do each and every week, talking to game changers in business, music, community, and more. And today I got a special guest. They already giving me good energy. Uh, I got the Painterland Sisters in the building. Stephanie, Hayley, how are you?
We are well. I'm the older sister. I'll go first. We're well.
We're doing fantastic today.
You guys' story is really interesting. I was looking at some of these numbers, and how do you like give me some background first to the audience and kind of about you guys' background and how you kind of got started in this space, and then we're gonna talk the numbers because the numbers are amazing.
Yeah, definitely. So we grew up on our family's fourth generation organic dairy farm in the rolling hills of Pennsylvania in the middle of nowhere. We have more cows than people in our town. And
Yeah.
so we grew up barefoot on the dirt road, really wanting to connect to basically the world. And we got out there and we realized people are completely disconnected from the source of their food, which is the American farmer. And so we're constantly telling our story as an American farmer in a new light as millennial women, right? And so people were able to connect to our story as farmers more, say, than like our grandpa, right? Standing in the middle of the field with his overalls on. So like
Right.
we're able to tell our story maybe like in stilettos and lipstick, and also talk about sustainable agriculture where people were like understanding it in bite-sized, more fun-loving pieces. And so anyways,
We still like to stand in the middle of the field with our overalls, though.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
we just we do a whole photo shoot though when we do that with
Yeah.
our cows, and we get some flower crowns to put on them. So
But
yes,
y'all glammed up. So it's not the message sometimes, it's the messenger. So the messenger has changed.
the
Yes,
messenger
and
has changed.
and we realize we can be all things. As you grow up, you're like, oh, I either have to fit like this personality or that personality. And you're like, you could wear your cowboy boots, you can wear your high heels, you can have your lipstick, but also like, still work with your dad shoveling poop on the weekends.
Right.
So, you can be all things. And so we got out there. We always knew we wanted to come back to our family's farm and bring light to it, and really like take the base that our family's built for generations and continue it moving forward. And how are we going to do that? Like we have all these cows, we have all this milk, and we wanted to take control of our own destinies. And so that's what we did. We partnered with a 10th generation Icelandic yogurt maker, and we make an organic style Skyr yogurt. It's lactose-free, 6% milk fat, so it's double cream, billions of probiotics, and 16 to 21 grams of protein, and that's naturally. So a lot of other yogurts add protein powder back in. We are right from the farm girls. We want everything as right from the farm as possible. So this is a really transparent product.
Yeah,
Haley,
it's funny. It's funny because for me, I'm a personal branding guy, so I'm always really passionate about authenticity, right? Like I literally went on my Instagram and I had like Eucerin all on my face and I was doing a live and I'm like, people probably like, why does he have white stuff? But I have really bad eczema and it flares
Mhm.
up during certain times of the season. And I'm here in Miami, the weather's always hot.
Mhm.
It was really to prove a point. Like I don't care that I have this Eucerin on. I don't
Mhm.
care that I have eczema, and I'm cool with being that authentic with my audience. So I'm always excited to hear brands that are super authentic to them because you don't really have to turn it on, right? It's just you. If it was no cameras, this is your life and how you live it. And I think people relate to that. So talk to me about the
Yeah.
yogurt, the name. How
Well,
do y'all come up?
I just want to like just pause and just say thank you for like getting that. So
Oh yeah,
like
100%.
yeah, like
100%.
it feels like that's what we're just like, even the way that we conduct business, being, young women in business leading, it's just like, hey, we might not do it the way that someone else does it, but like we feel we're gonna stick right to who we are all the time. And we did that with our product and the way that we run the business. But sorry, what was your question now?
No,
Completely
so
blank.
my question is the name. Like, how do you guys come up
Yeah.
with the name of this? I'm a name guy, so I love a good name.
So Stephanie and I, we always wanted to start something. We didn't exactly know what business we wanted to start. And then we figured out, all right, we're going to do a value-added product with our family's milk. And so then we started thinking, all right, now we know we're going to make yogurt, but what are we going to call it? And so we thought of everything possible. We hired somebody to help us, and we actually didn't use any of those names. Our farm's name is Painterland Farms. It's a fourth generation farm from 1941. And so we wanted to pay heritage to the farm. So Painterland comes from, we live on top of a hill, but still in the valley in the middle of nowhere. And it's basically just a bunch of painters running around. So it's the land of the painters, Painterland. And so we wanted to pay heritage to that with that pride, authenticity, like you said, because that's all we are. And then we added the sisters because it's Stephanie and I doing this. It brings that level of familiarity, comfort, like you can trust us. We're two sisters just trying to give you a really good product.
And also wanted to
ahead.
add that woman-owned piece to it.
Oh yeah.
80% of the buying power is women, right?
Yeah.
And there's not a lot that caters to women in general, which is funny because 80% of the buying power is women. So we have this feminine looking on-shelf product, and it's sisters owned. But yeah, our last name's also Painter, so obviously that like rolls in with Painterland.
Nah, it's already sound like a TV show. So when I hear the name, I'm like, oh, they need their own show.
I know.
Like I'm thinking like when they did like Paris Hilton and Nicole Richie was like trying out this farm stuff, right? Like they was doing one of those, but you guys is actual, y'all, that's y'all day to day, right? Y'all nothing in that. I think people will want to see that.
Oh, we're in it. Yeah, it's for real.
So like I'm a person who's done business with family and it didn't work out. How do you guys get this positive spin on doing business with family? Because it could be difficult, right? You dealing with these type of business decisions, and it's like, when do I know this is the line of business and this is like family, so I don't want to rock the boat or I don't want to cross a line. Like, how have you guys balanced that? And either one of y'all can individually give your take.
Yeah, we'll give.
I was gonna say, but it might be different. I'll start.
Oh,
all right, go ahead.
So we grew up, on the farm, and it's our dad and his two brothers and all of their kids who are on the farm. So it's 13 of us cousins, and they operate the farm together. And then there's my grandparents, and then there's all the spouses. So it's literally like it's a lot of family all working together, and we grew up like that. We saw a lot of the stress. Someone told us the other day that starting your own business is perpetual stress all the time, but it's also perpetual rewards. And I think that's the same with working with family. And so what we did as a family farm is every morning at 9 a.m., Grandma Painter would have a giant like meal on the table. It was our breakfast, but it was usually like a 5-course meal with like steak, potatoes, strawberry rhubarb pie, whatever she had. And a lot of the veggies were from the garden. But we'd get up at like 4 a.m. to start working. And so by that time, it was like our lunch. But that 9 a.m. breakfast meeting, everyone comes, sits around the table. They chat about how their day is going, how it's not going, and they talk about like stresses and also what they're doing the next day and the next couple weeks. And so we saw that growing up, and Stephanie and I, we didn't even think about it. We just knew we were going to go into business together, right? It wasn't really a question. So we didn't have to wonder, do we want to do this? It was more like, we're going to do this. How do we make it work? And we're still every day figuring out how we can be better together. And so we started to have meetings. So we have 2 meetings a week. The first meetings to talk about business stuff. The second meetings to talk about how we could have talked to each other better at that business meeting.
The feedback loop. I love that.
So we had to figure out how to separate our 2 relationships as co-CEOs and as sisters. And of course, like as you grow with any relationship, even with a spouse, it's like constantly figuring out how to work better with each other. So like as sisters and then as business partners as well, like and we always, I don't know if everyone always knows this, but like when we're in meetings with our teams, Hayley are constantly texting each other. We're like, hey, like, don't talk to me like I'm your little sister. Don't talk to me like I'm your big, you know what I mean?
That's funny.
There's like just different things like that. We're constantly talking to each other.
Encouraging stuff too, though. Like, you're really good at this part. Answer that question.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You sound way better at this. Like make.
Oh, there we go.
Our recording stopped. Oh, we're back. We're good.
Yeah. Do it again.
Yeah. So it's been fun. It's been a learning curve, but I think with any relationship ever, it's just always about boundaries and communication. So
I like that. It's funny because I haven't gone into business with my sister, but she just picks my brain all the time about like ideas.
yeah.
She's starting a school and all of these things.
That's cool.
So I used to be like, I started cutting my family off. Like, look, y'all gonna have to start paying for some consultations because y'all keep calling me and asking for this advice, and then they never take it.
Yeah.
Like, I want to start this children's coloring book. And I'm like, oh, we'll do this. These are some steps. And then a year later, I'm like, yo, how's that coloring book? Oh, I'm doing something else, man. I'm making wigs now. And I'm just like, come on. Like, so it's tough. But like, I'm looking at these numbers though. $1.3 million in sales doesn't just happen. So talk to me about that process.
Yeah. So we launched in March of 2022, and we were launched like right at the tail end of like COVID. Supply chain was funky and all that stuff. So we didn't even have they were like our labels for our yogurt. They were like, hey, it's gonna be like a couple months out. And we're like, no, we just got our first sales order. Like we just finally got it. Like we have to launch March. So we had our whole family down there, like cousins, everything, like the whole farm, like wrapping labels, 20,000 yogurts
in the refrigerator.
Yeah, in the refrigerator, so it was crazy. So that's what happened for like the first two or 3 months. But we were like, we are gonna make sure we launch, like we're gonna do that, like that farmer in us. But anyways, so we launched March of 2022, and then we landed our first, I guess, big retail chain, Giant in Pennsylvania. About 200 stores. We hit the shelves in July of 2022. And then right after that, we got an opportunity with Natural Grocers, and that started taking us national. Central Market, just has great velocity down in Texas. We're like, oh my gosh, we're in Texas. Oh my gosh, we're like,
they sell us on LinkedIn.
Yeah, and
it's a random video of us telling our story. They saw it.
Yeah, and then we got the Sprouts account, which launched us into 400 stores nationwide, and then we were like,
that was September, so we didn't actually sell anything really till July, and we got into Sprouts September, and that was a huge national account.
Yep. And so we were like, wow, like we're really starting to rock and roll, and we didn't really exactly know what we were doing, so we made sure that like hire a great team, bring on a great team to help us navigate sales, operations, finance, and really give us advice. So we realized, like, very upfront, like, ask questions, don't be embarrassed to ask questions, or you're just not going to make it happen. There's a lot of people with a lot more experience than you and a lot of other things. And Hayley and I have acted as basically like just picking people's brains and talking to people, and like realizing, like, when you have somebody really good, like, and they want to be with you and they want to see growth, like we all need to do this together. Everyone has their own specialties, and you're gonna have to pay for that too, you know what I mean? 100%. And so like our grandma always said, like, you either pay in tuition from making mistakes, you pay tuition expense, or now we're realizing, or you pay a professional to just do it right the first time, right? And so then we just built the team. We went into,
this was pre-launching. So we sold our first cup of yogurt March of 2022, but we started everything in 2018. So it really took us 4 years to develop all this stuff. We started working.
And this is through COVID, right?
Through COVID, we made our design, our logos, our Painterland Sisters name, which was probably the biggest argument between the two of us, but we got it.
Nice.
Yeah. So we got grants and stuff to start with. So when we finally had that first cup of yogurt to sell, because it was, 4 years of not paying ourselves, 4 years of people offering us jobs, and we'd tell them what our dreams were, and they'd be like, okay, girls, but if you need a job here, like, we have it. It's like, we just told you what we were doing.
Which, by the way, like, try not to like say girls to someone who's trying to run a business. It's so annoying, especially by like, older men. They're like, okay, girls. And I'm like, oh
Oh
my
my
gosh.
goodness.
Like, so anyways, and navigating that, like where people think we're like, oh, these are two cute little farm girls that are trying to sell a lot of milk and a lot of yogurt, like
Yeah.
good luck. And then some people who really believed in us, and we couldn't have done it without those people, right? But we put our nose down, and then in the first 12 months of business, we had $1.3 million worth of yogurt or of like sales. And then
Wow.
this year we're on track to hit $3.5 million, and next year we're on track to hit
5.2.
next year we're projected to hit
Yeah.
5.2 million. So we're rocking and rolling. We're selling yogurt.
We're
So-
This is
projected to be profitable in 2025, and
nice.
that's like our goal.
Yeah. Nah, I mean, I think this is important because a lot of people don't talk about the numbers. So I appreciate you guys being that transparent. And to the people that's watching this platform, let's be clear. My first job, I was the cart getter at Giant. So yes, that was my first job. It wasn't called cart getter, it was called parcel pickup. And I was
That sounds good.
it sounds important, right? So, but
Yeah,
basically, I
parcel
just had
pickup.
to make sure the carts was full. But that was my first job. I absolutely loved that job,
Oh, that's cool.
except when it snowed in Delaware, and I'm like, yo, this is for somebody else.
Yeah,
I'll do the
snows.
flower shop. I'll do some bagging, but pushing these, so I have the record at the Giant store in Bear, Delaware, for the most carts taken in one trip. 62 carts. I don't know if somebody's broken that since I've left Giant.
We'll have to find out.
So when I go to like Walmart and I see these guys got the new little button and the carts are just pushing by itself, I'm like, these guys don't know hard work.
Don't know how to do it.
You don't know what the parcel pickup is.
Parcel pickup is. So, but that's dope. How do you navigate like getting that first deal, right? Because you guys have a product and but you're dealing with like big distribution. So how do you even go out and reach out to people?
So that's where we spoke about like making sure we hired someone that we knew what they were doing. We realized, okay, like we have a lot of milk. That means that we have to make a lot of yogurt, right? Yeah. So we wanted to start with just a farm store in Westfield, Pennsylvania, and do a couple things. And then it ended up, we realized once we did our business plan that it has to be bigger than that. And so we just
400 cows make a lot of milk.
Yeah.
That's how many cows you have? 400?
Yes.
400 cows.
That we milk. So we have a lot more, but that we milk twice a day. And so, yeah, we had to figure out, how are we going to, if we're going to really sustain our family's farm, how we need to sell all of this milk. Yeah. And so we basically networked until we found P2R group, our VP of sales. We hired an interim VP of sales, and he helped us navigate like the whole language of the CPG world, the retail world, and what does everything mean. Now we were the ones like on there pitching and just telling our story, right? Yeah. Like explaining why this yogurt is so nutrient dense, explaining, why we farm differently, which is really important to the consumer, especially now, why sustainable agriculture, will ensure that we have a planet to live on for generations to come. And so we did that, and then he would help us like navigate those deals after and figuring out. But it was a lot. We're still learning, you know what I mean? Like we're not even 2 years into like launching into retail, and we are still learning, and we're pivoting, and we're bringing on people when we need it, and continuing to level up. So I think that's really important too.
It's funny when I speak on stages, I always talk about fear, right? So I talk about my acronym for fear is finding excuses and reasons, right? So we'll find excuses and reasons why we can't do so. Yes. But I used to have, people have this fear of failure, people have this fear of rejection, and then I recently started adding the fear of success. And I feel like that's a real fear of people, like, well, what if this actually happens?
Yeah.
How do I handle that pressure of, oh man, I got this big order. I said I wanted this. Now what do I do?
Oh yeah, yeah. No, and you're so right. Like it is about just you have to have faith too in yourself and just where, why you're here on this planet, right? Like you just have to have faith in your beliefs. And like Hayley and I are like, we don't have a choice. Like there's something been intrinsically in us since we were little girls, like when we're actually girls, and that we were going to do something like this and that we had to, like, it's our destiny. And so we were
I'd say
never,
the
yeah.
biggest fear would be not doing something. With farms, they either say you get big, you get out, or you get different. We wanted to figure out how to get different. They also say if you're standing still, you're already behind. And so, like you said, fear, people are fearful of things, so that's why they don't do it. Well, we were fearful of not doing something. And so that's what really projected us forward because we knew what would happen if we didn't. And so we were just extremely aggressive with trying to solve that problem. And then on the path, we've come up with so many new passions along the way. For instance, when we were young, we didn't realize how disconnected people were, and are farmers, and farmers are disconnected from the general population. So now, a burning passion we have is connecting those people, and connecting the source of our food with the people who eat it, because that's a collaboration that should be timeless. And so we're really excited to not only sell yogurt, but to really provide that service of transparency and showing what it's like to be farmers, putting those funny videos up of our cows and of us being completely head to toe in dresses in a cow pasture, maybe accidentally stepping on a cow pie.
Yeah.
But that's that authenticity and that extra drive of not just selling yogurt, but really providing that, I guess, passion.
For me, so I live in Miami. Well, actually, Fort Lauderdale, but everything I do is in Miami. My wife hates it here. Like, she's like, her dream is like, why don't we just get a farm somewhere, something with a lot of land, and just do our own thing, like off the grid. She's a off the grid type person, log cabins and all of that. That's her vibe.
You're
And
gonna
I'm
have to
like,
come to Westfield.
yeah, and I'm just like a beach. Put me in the middle of everything, so the balance works. But what I wanted to ask you guys is, how do you guys balance the business aspect and then finding time for personal stuff?
So
The question we're still trying to answer.
yeah, I mean, we're trying to figure it out every single day. I am literally like over 8 months pregnant right now.
Oh my
And
goodness, congrats.
yeah, thank you. So like, and I have two other kids. So I have a 2-year-old daughter and then I have a 6-year-old stepdaughter. And so
Oh my goodness.
balancing like mom life with like co-CEO life is pretty crazy. But we just really try to do our best. I really try to like shut off my phone and leave, or like I just leave it. Like if I'm like, okay, on the weekends, I'll just leave my phone because it's so hard to like, there's always something that you could be doing and building. And so I try to just leave my phone, and because you're just so addicted to like the opportunities that are out there, as a business owner, right? And just like getting it done. And so and then Hayley and I really try to focus on, hey, we're not just business partners, like we're sisters too. Like we can give each other a hug and say like we love you, because we're usually
Can't
like,
give her a hug now or I bounce off that belly.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
But that it's super hard. But we yeah.
I would
That's
also
tough.
say balance, like people think of balance each day or each year, but if you also think about it for the whole period of your life or for what your goals are, right? Our goals are for us to come back to the farm, to raise our kids on it, to have our great grandkids on it someday. And so it's that balance of working a little extra hard right now, and knowing that there's going to be a bigger payout or more stability. Like we watched our dad struggle for years, right? He's a farmer, like he works like 20 hours a day sometimes if he really has to, but on average it's more like 15. And so it's like like us adding a little bit more hard work now, hopefully that adds that balance in the future and balance for us as well.
Yeah. I mean, I've been got to a point where, because I got several businesses and I just always, have to be mindful that I'm married, right? So it's all good that I'm hustling and bustling. I'm getting this money, and she can eat whatever she wants and
Yeah.
spend whatever she wants, right? Because I work
Yeah.
so hard. But that balance aspect is super important. So my wife's love language is food. So if I know I've been working too hard, if I come home with the right food, it will
You
just
got it
make
figured out,
it
right?
will just make everything better. The right
Uh,
food, but it has to have the right dessert. She has to have a
yeah.
nice flan or some kind
Yeah.
of cheesecake. You can't just come with just the meal. It has
I
to
get a
have dessert.
great idea
Right
for you and your
there,
wife.
balance,
Yes,
balance, right? Like you'd be working all day, you gotta have the right food. That's balance. Like, and
that's the
that's what,
balance.
I
yeah.
have a perfect
What you
idea
got for me,
for you
Haley?
and
Let
your
me hear
wife.
it. Give it to me.
You will have to go to Sprouts near you because that's where we are in Florida. And you
Sprouts.
can
Okay.
pick her up a nice Painterland Sisters yogurt. It is good food and it's a good dessert. You can add some chocolate chips to it.
Mm.
And then
I'm
you
a,
say, I've been working so hard. This is how I want to share it with you.
what's the flavor that I need to get?
Okay, so you can actually make her own cheesecake if you would like with the
Okay.
vanilla. It's really good. If you're gonna give her a plain one, I would say vanilla or meadowberry, named after Stephanie's daughter, Meadow.
I love that.
If she wants like a savory thing, you bring her home the plain, make her a nice steak, and throw that plain all over the top of it. It is delicious.
But you also, if she's an off the grid kind of person, you got to take her to the farm, man. Like, bring her
Oh
up
my
to the
God.
farm, bring her up to the
We gotta
farm.
come.
You'll show her the farm life. She'll be milking a cow, and
She
everything
would
will be
love that. She's
happy.
such
And
a
seriously, bring her up here.
I got married in Dublin, Ireland, right?
Oh
That's
my
cool. Yeah,
God.
yeah.
And I'm just like, where do you want to go? We're in Ireland. We could go to the Cliffs of Moher. Let's go where they did
Yeah.
some Harry Potter stuff. She's like, the zoo. And I'm like, we could go to, she just loves animals. So
Animals.
I'm bringing her to the farm. We're coming.
You have to bring her to
That's
the
how
farm.
I am. We have 100 baby calves.
Oh my goodness.
So all different ages. So that's probably where we're gonna end up seeing her.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Next time I gotta go to Delaware, I'm like, look, mom, I'm gonna see you real quick, and then
Anytime,
I'm going to the farm. I'm going to the
anytime,
farm.
seriously.
That's so exciting. So like on my platform, I have people that are in maybe not entrepreneurship space or running a company, but maybe they got a full-time job and they working on something on the side to eventually replace their full-time job. What's one piece of advice that I want to get one from each one of you guys that you guys can give to the audience in this entrepreneurship journey?
So I want to come back to just what you said about fear. Like I really believe like you just have to be open with the world and not be scared of it and have belief in yourself and just a belief that you can do it. Like you can do it. Do not have excuses because you can do it. And so I think that's my real, like you got to have that feeling like you can do this.
Haley, what you got for me?
Oh, let's see. So when we started this, I didn't even like yogurt. We
Really?
launched a yogurt company because I liked this product, and so I had
Oh
to make one I
wow.
liked, and that was really good for you too. We wanted to make cheese. I have a cheese poster behind me. I know you guys can't see it, but
I see it. I
I
see the
wanted
wheel behind the chair.
yeah, we wanted to make cheese. I wanted to be a veterinarian, but we had this one mission, right, to sustain our farm and connect it. And so I think my biggest recommendation is find the passion that you want and don't just say like, oh, I want to launch a yogurt company. No, like have a bigger mission and then whatever opportunities come up, just keep going towards that mission and the path will clear. Don't already have the path in mind. Just like head towards your mission, head towards your passion, and it'll come up as you go. And as you're going on that path, talk to everybody and anybody because you never know who can help you. Funny story, we talked to everybody and anybody. That's how we got our first grants and got started, blah, blah, blah. We connected with an Amish guy and we thought he was going to cut cheese for us, right? And wrap it. That was the service he provided. Little did we know that he actually had his own cold storage facility. That's not something I thought of, right? And he
Ran
had
on a generator.
trucks. his own trucks to bring, the different products here and there. And so when we first launched, we worked with this Amish distributor and cold storage house. So it's like we didn't expect it, and we didn't pursue that.
And
just reaching out to anybody and everybody and kind of going through that path or going to the mission, your path's going to form, and you never know who can help you along the way.
And Jake connected us to our very first sale. So that regional distributor launched to in March of 2022, he was a connection there. So you just never know, and just have to have confidence and belief in yourself and follow your passion.
I love that, man. So I want to thank you guys for your expertise, for sharing. Like, you guys shared a lot, and I appreciate your transparency and, of course, your authenticity. I'm big on the authenticity. And I'm looking forward. I'm going to go to Sprouts, and I'm going to DM you guys soon if I get it.
Yeah, we're excited.
And if my wife lets me take a picture of her with it, I will send it over to you guys.
Tell her we'll send a picture of the calf if she does that.
Oh, snap. I'm like, yo, you're not going to get invited to the farm if you don't get me this picture. But thank you, guys. I appreciate it, and we'll be in touch.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you.